it is time for my October reading roundup. I feel like in October I didn't really read, but like I read obviously, but I felt like I didn't read an awful lot, which is actually untrue. I read 4 books, which were all on my TBR, so I done what I wanted. I'm quite happy. It just felt like an odd reading month. I don't really know why. So the first book I read in October was The Guest by Nita Prose. It's a whodunit sort of crime book. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I believe this was the second in the series, and that there was one before, but I didn't read that. I followed what was happening. I don't think I needed to read the first one. I think it just would have been like nice to have read the first one, just because I think some of the characters come over. I felt like I read it, like I understood it, but yeah. The main character in this book, I believe she's on the spectrum. I think it's portrayed really well. I loved it. I think as it went on, it got better. It was really good from the beginning, but I wasn't really, I don't know, I think as it went on and for me, as I understood the character more, I thought it got better, or as you learned more about the character, it got a bit more like enjoyable. But it is really good. I'll probably go for, if I'm being honest, 3.5 stars. It was really good, and I think usually I'd probably rate it higher. I'm such a funny like rater though, because I would give 5 stars to anything that I read and enjoyed. Like I DNF'd a book last month and I'm pretty sure I still gave it 4 stars. I can't commit to not giving 5 stars. But if I'm being honest, for me it's definitely a 3.5. It's really good. Everything about it is great. It's really enjoyable. I loved it. I loved the twists. I loved everything that happened in it. But it just didn't really stand out as a 5-star book. And if I'm being like really strict, it's not really a 4-star book for me either. It's not one that I rant and rave about. So 3.5. I think that's fair. And I would recommend reading it. It's a good little book to read. It's not super thick. How many pages is it? Oh, but I think they have an extra. No, they don't. Wait a second. 325 pages, so it's not that bad. And that's doable. You can do that quite easy. But yeah, it's good. Definitely read the first one first, though. I don't know what it's called, sorry. The Maid, I think. The Maid by Nita Prose. And then The Guest. The Mystery Guest, sorry. By Nita Prose. But yeah. The next book I read in October was No Escape by Lucy Clark. I loved this. I think it's kind of obvious that it's going to involve a yacht. It was a little bit different than what I anticipated. You know that saying, don't judge a book by its cover? I judge a book by its cover. Can't help it. Cannot help it. I will pick something up because I like the cover. I'll make up my own idea of what's going to happen in the book and then read it and be surprised that what I thought was going to happen didn't happen. Not to say this is not a good book. I loved it. It was a bit slow, but the ending made it amazing. It is very well done, and it goes between then and now. So it's not like years difference. I think it's a couple of months difference. And it follows like 2 friends who are from the UK, but they're like traveling. They're traveling. So they're in, I don't know where they are, I can't remember. But they find these people who basically just sail everywhere and they join them. It's great. The plot twists in this, insane. I loved it. And she does actually have other books. It's made me really keen to read her other books. And the thing is, I finished it. So I was so close to finishing it one night when I was on the bus home, and I didn't get the chance to. And I came home, there was stuff to do, blah, blah, blah. So Callum and I went to bed, and he fell asleep, and I was up, and I finished it. And I turned, I was like, oh my God, I finished the book. And I realised that he was like fast asleep. So I was kind of gutted that I couldn't like share it straight away, but it's so enjoyable. I do recommend this book. It is sort of, I don't know what I'd class it as, because there is an aspect of thriller to it, and I suppose there is an aspect of crime, but I don't think I'd class it as a like traditional crime. I'm not too sure, but it is really enjoyable. I would recommend. I say thriller, but it's not really a thriller. I suppose there's an aspect of whodunit, but it's not traditional, it's more modernised, but it's really enjoyable. Give it a go. And it's also got like summer vibes to it as well, because it's like summer autumn. It's more autumn vibes, because it's like they're travelling, so you know that they're in hot weather, but it's like bad weather. I don't know how to, you just have to read it. You have to read it. 5 stars. I think if it wasn't for the ending, this would not be 5 stars though for me. The ending, honestly, just the last bit is insane. I feel like you need to read it to understand. So please read it so I can talk to someone about it. It's so good. My throat is kind of sore. I feel so parched. My throat is just sore. It's not coming to anything. It's been sore for like a week now, and it's just not coming to anything. So I'm just stuck in this limbo of, at the end of the day, feeling so exhausted and my throat is so sore, but in the morning I'm fine, so I have to just get up and get on with the day, and then it comes to night time and I want to just curl in a ball and sleep forever. The third book I read in October, I feel like it's so on brand, it's so themed. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. Take my money, Laurie. Take it all the time. I love you. She's amazing. She's an icon. She is the moment. Look at the foils. Look at it glisten and glow. Ooh. I love this book. I love Laurie Gilmore. Everything is just so good. What I didn't realise until I'd posted a picture, I hadn't started reading it yet, I posted a picture on Threads and someone had replied to it and said that it's not actually set in sort of autumn, it's set in summer, so it's on the cusp of like coming into August, so it's not autumn yet, it's still summer, but did not take away from the good vibes. I loved it. I think there was a few points that it could have possibly been a bit too cringy for me, but sometimes I love it and sometimes I hate it. I think I've got to be in the mood for like some romance things. There's one bit I loved though. Wait, I'll try and find it because it was so cute. I didn't tag it. I was like tab it. I didn't tab it. I highlighted it though. No, I've obviously went past it because it was relatively earlier on. This is going to annoy me now. Oh no, I'm really frustrated now. Because it was so cute. I'll maybe see if I can upload a screenshot of it. It was so cute. And then also it does have like a little playlist at the beginning of the book. How adorable. I'm going to be really honest, I didn't listen to the playlist when I was reading it. But some of the songs are amazing on it. There She Goes. Love it. Heaven by Niall Horan. Oh. Cinnamon Girl by Lana Del Rey. Amazing taste in music. Laurie Gilmore. But it is really good. It is obviously a sort of romance, small town romance. It's the second book in the series. I would say because the characters are interlinked, it probably is advantageous to read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe before reading the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, just so that you have like that background knowledge of what's going on. There is a little bit of a feature for the next book in the series. It's very small, but it is mentioned in this book. So I'm really excited. I know that one of my friends is already, I think she's in the process of reading The Christmas Tree Farm. I think that's what it's called. I'm going to leave it until December or later November before I read it, just so that I can get in the full festive vibe. But I would recommend this book. I'd recommend the series. I think it's amazing. It's easy to read. It's cute. It's lovely. It's very seasonal. I just really enjoy it. It's very on brand for me and my personality. The last book I read in October, this was so highly anticipated. I have had this on my TBR for years, not even joking. And I've always put off reading it. I don't know why. And I know that Steph Bohr, it's like her all-time favourite book. You know what's coming. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Beautiful. I do wish though, and I've said this to so many people, I wish I was able to binge read it. I read it spread over like a week or just over a week when I was travelling in and out of work. But it's one of the books I wish that I was able to sit like curled up and read it just in one day, because it does jump, not, because I think sometimes it seems really intimidating when there's a mention of books like jumping in time, and this one does jump in time. It's not like really bad, and it's not like you're missing tons of stuff out. It just makes so much sense in the storyline for it to jump in time. It is so good. I completely understand why it's so loved. What is really, for me, really off-putting, it sounds so bad, is all the names. It is kind of intimidating, and it makes me think of sort of fantasy, when you're reading some of the things in fantasy novels and you're like, don't know how to pronounce that, don't know what that says, don't know what that means. There is that element of it for me, but I would honestly recommend for anyone to read this. And obviously, like, you kind of know how it's going to go, but I was so shocked, and the ending sealed it as well. Like No Escape, the ending for me was just so good in this book, and it's so beautiful but so cruel at the same time, and I think it's one that you really need to read, and I do honestly think it's going to be a classic in years to come. It's like a modern day classic. It's so good, and I love the style of writing. So I am excited because I do have another one of Madeline Miller's books, so I am excited to read that. I believe it's Cirque is how you pronounce it, so I am quite excited to give that a go. But please, I do honestly love this book. It's very contemporary. It is romance, but not, obviously, not this kind of romance. Not at all. It's also quite historical as well, but it's so good that I just can't put into words how good it is, and I feel like nothing will ever describe or perfectly match how this book is. So I do recommend anyone to read it. It's 5 stars for me. If I could give more, like I honestly would, because it's so good. It's so well done. Everything, you just feel so like captured in the storytelling and what's happening, what's going to happen. There's so much going on, and in a good way though. I don't know, I think sometimes it can be quite intimidating when people say that there's a lot going on in a book, but this one's just the perfect amount, and I think it's because it is spread over time, but it doesn't waste. Everything that you read is vital to the story. Just, you need to read it. It's like fantastic. It's one I'll probably reread because I loved it so much. So these are the 4 books I read this month. I think what put me off is that the first book of the month was just a bit like it wasn't the best. Although I did enjoy it, it didn't really like strike me, and I can't say it didn't even like stay with me, because I remember everything about it. There's just something about it that I didn't love. Not that I didn't love it, because I did. But if I was to, I feel like I sound quite critical of my own self actually. For me to have a good feeling reading month, I think I need to read something at the beginning of the month that I'm just obsessed with it and captures me, so that I can then want to quickly move on to the next book. I don't know if that makes sense. I think I've just got too high expectations and I'm too critical of my own reading, because 4 books in a month, I don't care what anyone says, that's really good. People that are able to read more are insane. I could not, in a good way, but I could not, I don't have the time. I probably do, but sometimes I just like sitting, sue me, I like just sitting there on TikTok. I like looking at books, okay? But it is really good, I do recommend them all. You know what I might do is a little ranking of what was my favourite at the top. I think that's what I'll do. See, it's just really difficult because there's some that... Okay. So in last place for my October roundup, The Mystery Guest. Do recommend 3.5 stars. That's me being very critical of it. Please read it. Whodunit, crime, amazing, and also it features a character who's on the spectrum, so it's very good. I think it's really enjoyable. It reminds me, what's that book? The Incident in the Nighttime. I can't remember who wrote it. I read it in high school. It was really good. It made me cry. It was really good. So yeah, this is my sort of 4th place of this month. Moving on, to be honest, it's a tie. It's a tie for 2nd place, because I loved them both for different reasons. I loved how this one finished. Sorry, it says that I ran out of storage. Whoops. I did like this one all the way through, but I didn't love it all the way through. I loved the ending. This one, I adored it. I don't know if I loved it, but I thought it was adorable the full way through, so I adored it. But they're definitely a match because, oh, they were just so good, both of them. So I can't pick. So we've got a tie in 2nd place, which means in 1st place, 5 stars. 5 stars. No questions asked. If you disagree, you're wrong. You're entitled to your opinion. Your wrong opinion. But this was so good. I do recommend it. I'm very happy that I finished a month on this book, because it actually feels so long ago that I've started my, the first book, so The Mystery Guest. That feels like it was 2 months before this one. So I'm happy that it went from one that I was kind of feeling a bit down about my reading, I felt like I was in a bit of a slump, to one that I really enjoyed, and I can't wait for other people to read it so I can talk to them about it, and to probably reread at some point as well. So if anyone does go on to read any of these, please let me know in the comments. If you've read any of them, please let me know your opinion in the comments, because I'd like to discuss them. I love to discuss books. Let's converse about it. So please let me know what you think. And if anyone has any ideas as well for another video, please let me know. I do think I'm going to do a video on how to get books for getting out of reading slump, or books for trying to get into reading, just because I think it's something that you can kind of struggle with. It's quite overwhelming. So I think I'll do a video of that. Lovely. But I hope you all have a good rest of your week or weekend, and whenever I get around to uploading this, I don't really know. And I will speak to you all soon. Bye.